There are toys, and then there are freak-out-worthy toys. Toys that get big reactions like...
OMG, no way!
Or...
Best present ever!
Or...
It's what I've always wanted!
For those toys, you need Walmart. They've got exclusives from major brands like Disney, Barbie, and Adventure Force that you can't find anywhere else. Toys that make kids jump for joy.
Thank you!
And make you a hero for giving them. Shop hundreds of exclusive toys.
Yes!
Welcome to your Walmart.
This is what you do when you've just found that statement handbag on eBay and you want to build an entire wardrobe around it. You start selling to keep buying. Yep, on eBay. Over that all-black everything phase? List it and buy all the color. Feeling more vintage than ever? It's out with the new and in with the pre-loved. Next thing you know, you've refreshed your wardrobe basically without spending a dime. Yeah, eBay, the place to buy and sell new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know, to check you have the tickets in your wallet first before you drive 2 hours to the big game. Seriously, you had one job. Now the closest you'll get to the 50-yard line is parking lot D. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
No brakes, no brakes, no fear, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome along, I'm Ian Brannan. Welcome to another episode of British Speedway's official podcast. It's hotting up in the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership, the playoff final around the corner, and we know Leicester are there.
We got to get in Heat 15, it was important. We got the win, and go to the pub tomorrow and get a couple of beers, I think, you know.
We'll hear more from Stuart Dixon soon, but on Monday it was the Belle Vue Aces who took a 12-point advantage from the National Speedway Stadium to Oleton against the Sheffield Tigers. We'll hear from Chris Holder.
12 points is not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. We're confident with that, and we're looking forward to Thursday now and putting up a good fight.
In this week's episode, we're joined by Ben Cook of the Belle Vue Aces, and he knows they've got a bit of a challenge on their hands on Thursday.
The last heat was really vital, the 5-1 for sure. You know, we're only, I think, 8 up or something, so those extra few points could be crucial. A long chat with Ben Cook coming up about life at the Belle Vue Aces, and also in the Cab Direct Championship, he's the captain of the Poole Pirates, and Poole are through to 3 cup finals. It could be a heavy time for silverware for Ben Cook if things go the way he wants them to go. So long chat with Ben Cook coming up, and reaction as well from the CLRC, the Championship League Riders Championship, and a new champion in Josh Pickering.
There's been a lot of great riders win this trophy, and I'm glad now to be named one of them as well.
So all that and much more to come, as well as a look ahead to everything else coming up in British Speedway over the next 7 days. All here on No Brakes, No Fear.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
It's all hotting up in British Speedway. We already know the Leicester Lions will be making their way to the final of the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership. More about that to come. But first to the second set of semi-finals taking place this week between the Belle Vue Aces and the Sheffield Tigers. And on Monday night, Sheffield were defeated by the Aces to leave the second ROWE Motor Oil Premiership semi-final perfectly poised ahead of Thursday's second leg. It ended 51-39 at the National Speedway Stadium. The Aces' lead was in single figures for much of the meeting in Manchester, but Dan Bewley and Jamin Lidsey struck a vital 5-1 in Heat 15 over Jack and Chris Holder to extend the margin to 12 points. It means both teams will head to South Yorkshire with realistic hopes of progressing to the grand final against Leicester. Dan Bewley top scored for the Aces with 12 points, Jamin Lidsey adding 11 plus 2 bonus. Jack Holder scored 12 for the Tigers, and brother Chris picked up 11. We'll hear from Chris Holder in a moment, but first of all, the rider of the night winning the Omologato watch for the Belle Vue Aces, Jamin Lidsey, speaking to Scott Nichols.
Huge amount of pressure on you boys tonight. Obviously you wanted to take a big lead. 12 points is a big lead to go away with, but what I want to ask from a personal point of view is, what goes through your mind how difficult it is on that first turn, because it was such a long way to the fence? You must feel very vulnerable down that back straight.
Yeah, you know, it's Sheffield is such a great team, and you know, having the two Holder brothers in Heat 15, you know, they're great riders with a lot of experience. But you know, I was getting my bike hooked up well off the corner, and especially down the inside of the straight. So you know, I was quietly confident I was you know, was going to hook up, and you know, I just went with that. I went one lap outside and kind of went nowhere, and Chris passed me, and I just had to go back to the inside. And
how nice is it as well I mean, you can see how tight it is there, but it must be nice around a place like this. It's so fast, so nice to ride on, but to have that comfort and security knowing that the rider's not going to do anything silly to you.
Yeah, for sure. You know, the track was beautiful today. There was so much rain yesterday, and usually when there's rain like that, it's always quite nice. But yeah, as you said, to have, you know, such good riders to race against, it's always good. You can't always feel safe, especially with them boys out there. And you know, you can race hard like that, and you know, put on a good show for everyone here.
And coming into that Heat 15, what was the chat between kind of all you boys and Lemo, as in, obviously he had to make a call, obviously Dan Bewley was in there, but obviously Brady Kurtz would have been in the mix as well. Kind of who made the ultimate decision on it?
Well, Lemo made his decision at last second. He didn't know what gate we were going to go, and then, you know, he had a couple of game plans, and then all of a sudden he said, no, you're off the inside. And I think come down to my last race, you know, I had it hooking up well on the inside before, and, you know, that's what I think he went with.
And what are your thoughts on taking a 12-point lead to Sheffield? Because we know it's a tough place to go to.
Yeah, very tough place. We haven't done good there this year, but to go with a 12-point lead, I think all the boys are in a good mindset, and we'll go there, try our hardest, and hopefully, you know, we can get a good score, if not a win. But you know, to make the final this year, that's we'd be very happy with that. So the club, you know, we missed out last year. We finished on top last year, and then it was all over this time. But hopefully, we can do it this year.
And we're going to have more reaction to that fixture, by the way. Ben Cook will be with us, of course, in the next part of No Breaks, No Fear of the Belle Vue Aces. Let's hear from one of the top scorers for the Sheffield Tigers then, Chris Holder, partnered up with his brother Jack in Heat 15, but we're on the receiving end of that 5-1, and Chris Holder has been chatting to Scott Nicholls on Eurosport as well.
Not the result you boys are looking for. I know you pushed them exceptionally close the last time you were here, only a couple of weeks ago, but everybody knows that Sheffield's a tough stomping ground to go to.
It's a scary place, old Sheffield, isn't it?
Oh, that's what I was going to say, but I didn't want to say that.
Yeah, no, we put up a good fight tonight. Like, as you know, this track, they're good round here, and you know, we might have caught a couple of their guys a bit off, but in saying that, you know, a couple of our guys sort of struggled a little bit, had a few issues, but 12 points, it's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world. We're confident with that, and we're looking forward to Thursday now and putting up a good fight.
I know you just joked about it saying it's a scary track, but you guys must probably have that in your mind. You know that a lot of guys are scared to go. There's no bones about it. It is a tough place to go to.
Yeah, it's a real confidence track. You know, it's fast, as you know. Starts are tricky. That's probably our advantage a little bit. And, yeah, that outside line gets a little bit hairy. But we've been slowly sort of getting the track back to how we want it. And the last couple of weeks has been really good. So hopefully Thursday will be the same and we can come out swinging.
To be fair, like you said, a few of the boys had off nights. Like you and your brother really kept the Sheffield Tigers in the game. You in particular having a fantastic run at the moment. It's great to see you riding like the Chris Holder we know.
Thanks, mate. No, it was good. Had a really good night. Just at the end there, you know what it's like when you finish with a last place. That yeah, it hurts a little bit. I probably could have made a change, but it was going so good I didn't want to touch it, but I should have.
No, with easier races earlier on, and like you said, you just had the speed. I mean, you come out 3 race wins, and it is a tricky place to go here, and you just said about the speed, but speed is really key at this place.
Yeah, it's everything. It's your best friend around here, and yeah, early on I had a lot of speed, and the bike felt, you know, unreal, so I knew when the track was sort of getting a little bit slicker and, you know, trying to like keep the bike in, you know, on the best sort of setup, I was a bit hesitant to touch it, but I really probably should have went for it and made a bit of a change for that last one, but, you know, that's the way it goes.
When it comes to setups at Sheffield, like you said, you boys kind of know that the setup there, you know, it can be a tough place to go to, so pulling back that 12 points, you feel pretty confident about that?
If we can get off to a good start and hit them quite early, and, you know, hopefully they drop their heads a bit and we can and get going, but it's going to be tough, but we're... You know, Pico's been on fire around there. He had a tough one today with some bike problems, and Kyle's always good for a lot of points. So yeah, just get there Thursday and make it happen.
How important is it for Pico to pick himself back? We know he's a funny little character and he's kind of pretty emotional, but tonight was a tough start for him. Yeah,
it really was. He had some, I think, ignition problems all night. So yeah, it was, you know, and he's always talking, and, you know, he remained positive, and he knew, you know, that what the issue was, you know, it was the bike, and once he got it sorted, he had that important win at the end there. But if you listen, you might be able to hear him from here. I know he might be still talking somewhere.
Just before we go, we've got to give a shout out to Johnny Jetwash after having a mental night tonight, covering both of you.
Yeah, Johnny was on double duty. Jackie had some issues with the mechanic this morning, and Johnny's going to sleep good tonight, isn't he?
I think he'll earn a McDonald's as well, I reckon.
I might get him a Big Mac, we'll see.
Yeah, fair to say, all hands to the pump in the Sheffield pits on Monday night. Let's hear from the team manager now then, Simon Stead, the Sheffield Tigers reigning champions. Are they going to be able to defend that title, and are they going to be able to claw back 12 points or more on Thursday night? Well, we can hear from Simon Stead with Ryan Guest.
Looking back on it now, I was obviously disappointed after Heat 15, but we're still in it, and that's the main thing. I certainly didn't want any more than, when I was thinking about the result of the meeting, I certainly didn't want to be carrying any more than 12, but 12 keeps it really interesting, so boys are up for it. I can't see Kyle having a night like he's had tonight, I can't see Pico having a night like he's had tonight, and I can't see Bomber having a night like he's had tonight, so if we have that swing and the Holder boys keep doing what they're doing, then all of a sudden it's right back in the balance.
Obviously, you have had the upper hand over the Aces overall so far in 2024, and some big performances, particularly at Alderton against them as well. They count for nothing, but with your form on your home shale as well, you must still be carrying some confidence going into the home leg.
Yeah, we do, of course. I think we've certainly, most recently, we've been really dominant, and displays have been really good from top to bottom throughout the team. So we will need a team performance, Ryan. That's what we need. We need all 7 riders to do their jobs on Thursday. So we know it's going to be tough, but if all 7 do their job, then I still believe we can do it.
And again, I know it was a different occasion, but you've only got to look back to last year's grand final with the deficit you overturned on that occasion. And like I say, it might be a new night, a different night, but nevertheless, that experience on the big occasion with that pressure on it is something a lot of the boys in the camp have shown they can hold.
Yeah, and I think touching on that we've got quite a few that were involved in that, so we know our mettle at Sheffield, we know how good we are there, but we just need everybody to turn up.
So that second leg then is on Thursday night at Alderton Stadium for the Sheffield Tigers versus the Belle Vue Aces. It will, of course, be live on Eurosport and Discovery Plus on Thursday evening. Going back to last Thursday, and the Leicester Lions made it through to the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership Grand Final after a dramatic clash with Ipswich, which went right down to the last heat. With one race of the semi-final remaining, the teams were locked on 87 points each on aggregate, and with the Lions never having led overall throughout the tie. But just as they had done at Vauxhall on Monday, Leicester duo Sam Masters and Max Frick roared from the gate in Heat 15 to seal their side's progression with a 51-39 win on the night, and by 4 points on aggregate. Max Frick scored 13 plus 3 for the hosts, Sam Masters and Richard Lawson both on 11 plus 1, and Tom Brennan, a superb guest for the Ipswich Witches, with 11 plus 1 in a meeting which featured a succession of incidents, falls and talking points after rain during the course of the afternoon. There was the winner then, and it was the Leicester Lions who will be heading through to that grand final to face either Sheffield or the Belle Vue Aces. And Abby Stevens on Eurosport caught up with manager Stuart Dixon.
For Leicester, to do this in the second year back in the Premiership, it's a big thing for us. Give credit to Ipswich, they rode really well, they asked some questions and they were so much sharper at the start than us. We got the gate in Heat 15, it was important, we got the win, and I've got one more night down in Leicester. That's me being away for 12 out of the last 15 nights. I'll get back up the road and go to the pub tomorrow and get a couple of beers, I think, what I mean?
And the last 3 nights you've been here trying to get this track in order for tonight.
Yep, I've put in countless hours, same with Andy Hill, Sam Gutches, Richard Botcher all helping me out. Tremendous guys, it's a good team effort, and when you win, I know it was tough conditions, but when you win, it's all worth it. You feel the buzz around the stadium. I'll just fly up, even though I'm driving up the M6 tomorrow, I'll just fly up that road tomorrow. I can't wait to get home, but share it sort of thing. I know the family was watching on the telly and they'd have been nervous as me, but I am a Speedway anorak, I don't deny it, but I'm so happy you can hear it in my voice.
Stuart said to me before we came on air tonight, should I make my answers shorter? And I said no.
No, I have tried. I did try earlier on, but I sometimes get caught in a wee rabble and get a bit excited. It's nice to be passionate. You've got to be. That's the way I am. I am passionate. I love it. You know, it's a big night for the Leicester public. I've done a wee lap of honour, thinking it was all down to me. It wasn't. It was down to the riders. But I just wanted to show my appreciation.
You played your part. Absolutely.
Yes. I'm in there encouraging all the time. But ultimately, Abby, it'll be the riders who will get us over the line. I got the right choice for the two riders. I wasn't going to go with Richard Lawson initially, and we spoke and we said I've not been out since heat 10. Sam Masters, we're under pressure. Sam just smiles away and goes out and does the job and doesn't get too fussed about it, but he's calm, he's relaxed. I'm hyping him up on that, but no, it's good, and my voice is gone as well, but it's just fantastic, feels great.
Yeah, well done to Stuart Dixon, a more passionate man about Speedway you will not meet. And the Leicester Lions heading to the grand final of the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership. And when you consider, as Stuart pointed out there, that previously in the top level that Leicester had always failed to even qualify for the playoffs. So to get through to the final, that is massive. And they are now 30 heats away from a league title potentially. But who will they face? As we know, it'll be either the Sheffield Tigers or the Belle Vue Aces, who still have the second leg at the time of recording and releasing this of their semi-final to run, and that result will have a bearing on what happens next. So here is the plan for the final. So depending on the outcome of the other semi-final, if Sheffield win on aggregate, the Leicester Lions will stage the first leg on Monday, September 23rd. So quick turnaround on this. It's straight away next week, Monday, September 23rd, for the first leg at Leicester, and then the second leg would be at Sheffield 3 nights later on the Thursday. However, the other way round, Bellevue win. A Bellevue victory would mean the Leicester Lions travelling to the National Speedway Stadium in Manchester on Monday the 23rd, with the second leg to be held at Leicester on September 26th. So all depends who wins due to stadium availability and logistics. So if Sheffield win, it will be Leicester hosting the first leg, Sheffield hosting the second leg. And if Bellevue win, it'll be Bellevue who host the first leg and Leicester hosting the second leg. That is the plan for the grand final of the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership, and of course we'll be able to give you a half-time report in that next week on No Breaks, No Fear, and we'll hopefully hook up with the winners as well after it is all sorted, and hopefully, weather permitting, everything goes to plan. One of the riders then that has a say in the semi-finals and the possible course of progression for the Belle Vue Aces is Ben Cook, who made the move to the Aces at the start of this season, but he's also going well with the Poole Pirates as well. He's the captain of the Pirates, and they have a chance of winning the treble in the championship this year. They're having a terrific season, and Ben Cook joins us in the next part of No Breaks, No Fear.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. With over 122 million parts, you can make sure your number one ride or die stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply.
There are toys, and then there are freak-out-worthy toys. Toys that get big reactions like,
OMG, no way!
Or,
best present ever!
Or,
it's what I've always wanted.
For those toys, you need Walmart. They've got exclusives from major brands like Disney, Barbie, and Adventure Force that you can't find anywhere else. Toys that make kids jump for joy.
Thank you.
And make you a hero for giving them. Shop hundreds of exclusive toys.
Yes!
Welcome to your Walmart.
This is what you do when you've just found that statement handbag on eBay and you want to build an entire wardrobe around it. You start selling to keep buying. Yep, on eBay. Over that all-black everything phase? List it and buy all the color. Feeling more vintage than ever? It's out with the new and in with the pre-loved. Next thing you know, you've refreshed your wardrobe basically without spending a dime. Yeah, eBay, the place to buy and sell new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Welcome back to No Breaks, No Fear. I'm Ian Brannan, and our guest in this episode, the main guest we're going to be chatting to for 25, 30 minutes or so, is Ben Cook. Now, Ben Cook made the move over from Australia a number of years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago now, and has been with the Poole Pirates, stepped up to the Premiership level of Speedway last year with Peterborough, and in 2024 has been racing with the Belle Vue Aces. On top of that, he's also been kicking on his career at the top level of Polish Speedway as well, where he ended the season with Leżno and ended up one of the top riders in Extraliga come the end of the season, certainly up towards the top 20, which is no small feat when you consider the strength of the lineup and the riders in that league. Ben, of course, is therefore also involved in the playoff semi-final, and we're at the halfway stage at recording this, and you were in action last night, Ben, at Bellevue as Bellevue took on the Sheffield Tigers. 12 points ahead. Obviously, you would always want more, but it could have been a lot less just a few heats earlier as well. So what's the half-time thoughts in the playoff semi-final with Sheffield ahead of heading to Oleton on Thursday?
Yeah, like you said, it was a close match. It was always going to be. You know, they've been the top team lately, and they've got such a strong team, and they go well around Bellevue. So it was always going to be tough. And like you said, it was close, but 12 is good. You know, we obviously would like a little bit more, but they're very good at their home track, so we've got to really go there firing up, and we've got to keep the chase going and don't get too relaxed.
I mean, you must be pleased with how the team overall finished, because it was obviously a lot closer than that with a few heats to go, and obviously a 5-1 in the final heat maybe just takes the edge off. All the points count, as you well know, and Bellevue obviously usually struggle to win at Sheffield, but going there with a 12-point bumper, that does sort of make it less of a stressful night on Thursday than it maybe would have been with a few heats to go.
Yeah, for sure. I was a little bit upset with myself. I didn't have my best night. There's no not saying that, but the boys done well. The last heat was really vital, the 5-1 for sure. We're only, I think, 8 up or something. So those extra few points could be crucial. But yeah, I think we're all going to be going there. Like, it's no hiding it. We haven't been the best there this year. And there's only one way to up, and it is up, hopefully, for us there. So, it's going to be tough. But the boys are up for it, and I know I am as well.
Obviously, it's different when you get to the playoffs. The pressure is different. But I think as well for you, riding for a club like the Belle Vue Aces, that's a big move. Obviously, you one of the riders that had to find a new team with Peterborough going south at the end of last season. But taking the step to the Aces, to the National Speedway Stadium, as I say, there's a whole lot of different pressure, but something that you can handle. You've been riding in Poland as well, so it's nice. It's certainly not the pressure on that level. But just tell us about what it's been like riding for Bellevue this year and this stage of your career now.
Yeah, it is an awesome place to go to every week. It is a fair drive for me every Monday. It's a long old day, but it does make it worth it when you get to go there and race around such a cool track like that every week. So it's been really good for me this year. I've felt like I've put in some pretty solid performances week in, week out, which is good. Plenty to build on, but it is such a cool place to go to, and I feel like everyone likes to go there and race. So to have it as your home track, it is good for sure.
A fast track as well, and you're going to need that speed at Sheffield, because that is just purely about speed, isn't it? Sheffield, fastest track in British Speedway, and certainly not for the faint-hearted, as we've seen through the course of this season as well. You've been going fast too in Poland. It's something that you're very used to. But getting the speed out the bike, as we heard with Ty Woofenden last week, he was talking about that weight to power ratio of some riders, and I think you are probably one of the riders he was talking about when he was discussing this. That in British Speedway there are some riders who are in a position, sort of perfect sort of little jockey on a bike, and that's really what it's been like for you, and you do benefit from that.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely not a hindrance being as light as I am, but at the same time, you still got to go out there and do the job. And I feel like some of the top boys in the world. Freddie and those boys aren't exactly my size. So, you can't just go and blame that, saying it's all because they're so light. It definitely helps, like I said. But you got to have the full, complete package. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it out there. It's where I wanted to be, and to achieve kind of what I did. Looking back at the start of the year, I couldn't really have dreamt it, to be honest. It's something where I wanted to go for sure, but for it to happen in such a short amount of time, it's still kind of sinking in a little bit what kind of happened, how fast it all happened. So, but yeah, really enjoyed it for sure, and next year will be good. It'll be a full season from the start, and yeah, there's lots to learn out there, all new tracks, and but yeah, it's I definitely can't complain with how it went this year.
Yeah, and just to fill people in on the Polish situation, you're riding for Leszno. Leszno were in Ekstraliga. They've been relegated now to Ekstraliga 2, which is obviously the second division down. But you're staying with them. There must have been a choice to make there, because you did catch the eye. You ended up being one of the top riders in Ekstraliga. And when you consider the quality that's in there, all the GP boys are in there. It's the top level standard wise. So you're sticking with them though, and is that what's the thought process there then to sort of help them get back up and bounce straight back? Is that the plan?
They've been pretty good to me. They gave me the opportunity, and it wasn't the ideal end of the season for them being relegated, but they really want to go straight back up. So they're putting a lot on the line, and pretty much signed the same top boys that were in the team this year to stay with them and hopefully bring them back up. So. I really enjoy it there at Leszno. It's a great track and a great club. So hopefully we can get them back up to the Ekstraliga, and that's where I want to be as well, in the top, racing the best. So it should be a good season though.
Yeah, and people say, why are you talking about this? Because this is a British Speedway, but it actually all feeds in, because this is it is a key part of your week, in how you ride. You're riding for Bellevue, but obviously this feeds down, and the stuff that you learn riding in Poland will translate to here, probably in the same way that riding for Bellevue has helped you get that spot in the first place. Riding alongside, Brady's obviously taking a step up, I think, this next year. You've been riding with Dan Bewley, needs no introduction. Jamin Lidsey, of course, has got plenty of experience as well, despite being pretty young too. So you're in a team, a different level to probably what you have been, considering you've only been over here a few years since you came over as a relative unknown, after COVID and whatever, and moved to the South Coast.
Yeah, this is only my fourth season over here, so it's where it all started here in the UK. So like you said, it does have a lot to do with it. Racing here and learning the craft here, and then finally getting a bit of an opportunity to go abroad where I want to go. So, it definitely helps, racing against those boys and at the best track in Bellevue, and it's such a fast track, similar to the Polish track. So it was good to sign for Bellevue this year and kind of ride a little bit different on the bike to how they may do in Poland, and yeah, it is going well. And when I've got that opportunity over there, you're lining up against all GP riders, and there's definitely no easy races out there, and you soon work out what parts of your game you don't quite have, or what needs to be better. And, starts are so crucial. And, yeah, you just can't make mistakes like you may get away with over here, and especially racing against those top boys. So, I enjoyed my few weeks matches, I think 8 or 9 matches I think I've done out there. And you learn so much racing against those top boys. And yeah, I guess it filters back down, and when you come back over here, you ride with a bit more confidence, and you're learning so much from over there. So it's definitely a knock-on effect.
And with Bellevue, you come into this lineup. I think anybody who's seen you racing in the championship, and I'm actually surprised how few people, or how many people, didn't really know what your story was really when you signed for Bellevue, because there are quite a lot of fans who just watch what's on Discovery or Eurosport, just the Premier League stuff. They don't see what's been going on in the championship. And as soon as you signed for Bellevue, I thought, well, that's probably going to go pretty well because everybody knows the sort of rider you are. You're as I say, you're of a kind of a similar build to, say, like Dan Bewley. You've got fast bikes, and so there's no reason why you can't kind of emulate his story. But did you feel that you had something to prove to the Bellevue fans? You're coming with a bit of expectation, pulling on that race jacket. It's one of the most famous in the world. But you very quickly delivered.
Yeah, I started off at Peterborough, and it's quite a fast track, and I really enjoyed it there. And I was at reserve, and then got into the main body of the team there, and it was always tough to translate straight from the reserve berth straight into the team, being the first season. So when they unfortunately closed down, had to change views where I want to go. Bellevue for sure was a track I wanted to go to. I raced there a couple of times against them with Peterborough, and I really enjoyed it there. And like you said, they're such a great club. So when I got the opportunity and the call to go there, I was really keen on it, and I'm really happy about it, and it's worked out quite well, and I am enjoying it there, and it's good.
There's always this thing about Poole. Obviously, the multiple league winners at the top level of British Speedway and have been down in the championship now for a few years. And, will Poole ever make the step back up? And that would be a choice for you, wouldn't it? If Poole went back to the top league, would you? And you're sitting in Midlow's house right now. So would you have a choice to make there if it was Bellevue or Poole? I don't think Poole are making the step up, but just hypothetically, that would be a choice for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be a decision to make. It's never say never, it could happen. It could happen. They may go back up in the next couple of years, but it'd be a funny decision to have to make. I enjoyed racing at Poole. I love it there, and they obviously give me the opportunity to come to the UK. So it would be a decision to make.
And your brother, of course, racing there too. So for Bellevue, then now your focus is on the semi-final in the immediate future on Thursday back at Oleton. As you sort of hinted so far, maybe Sheffield hasn't been your favourite track so far, but that doesn't mean that you're not G'd up for it, and it is going to be a tense contest. 12 points ahead, but obviously you've got to go out there with the win. But Bellevue, of course, did win the league title a couple of years ago at Sheffield in similar circumstances with I think the same lead, 12 points. So it can be done on that front.
Yeah, for sure. It is a track I quite enjoy. So we just need everyone. All the boys firing up, and we need everyone scoring from everywhere. To be honest, if we want to go through and win, you can't be carrying too many riders. Everyone's got to chip in and do their bit, and that with the little lead we have, we just 3 alls are as good as anything, to be honest. But we can't really go in with that mindset. You got to go in there to win. If it's harder to try and go in there and try and protect a lead, you'd rather go in there and try and keep piling the points on as much as we can. And like you said, we've missed him there a couple of times, so we haven't had a number one. I think we've gone RR both times maybe. So, we've had enough opportunities there now to fix that. And I'm sure Brady, he's had a one-off one there and didn't have his best one, so he's going to be going there too, fired up. And it's the finals time of the year, so everyone clicks another gear, and that's what you need to do if we want to make the finals. That's we've got to go there and get the job done.
And if we just change tack for a bit and focus now on the Poole Pirates, that is a side that knows how to get the job done. You're the captain of the Poole Pirates. You're through to 3 cup finals. In fact, that's all there is to be won in the championship. So you could win everything again. The BSN Series, the Knockout Cup, and you're through to the final of the playoffs already. And certainly in the Knockout Cup, you're going to meet the Oxford Cheetahs. In the Cab Direct Championship playoff finals, there's a fair chance you could be meeting the Oxford Cheetahs there, and it'll be either Scunthorpe or Edinburgh in the BSN Series final. So this rivalry with Oxford is, obviously it's a fairly local rivalry anyway, but you're going to be, in the same way as Bellevue and Sheffield have been meeting a few times lately, Poole and Oxford are going to be meeting in the potentially in the playoff final and certainly in the Knockout Cup final.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely the goal at the start of the year, and it definitely still is now. So, it was tough last year. You go through, being quietly dominant like we were last year, and to miss out in the last stage of the season, it wasn't cool. So, it's. At the same time, it could be a good thing that we know that feeling that we don't want to have, and to win the treble this year would be pretty awesome. Especially as being captain for my first year. It's, I know I desperately want it as well, and I know the boys do too. So it's going to be tough. It's looking like you said, could be Oxford in 2 out of the 3 maybe, and they're such a good team as well. So it's a kind of a bit of a local derby, and it should be a big one with them, and not sure. We've had our good meetings there at Oxford, but they are strong there with Scotty and Sam. But there's no reason why we can't go there and keep it tight, or even get a win there. So that's what we're planning on. So we need to be lifting all 3 trophies at the end of the year. That's our goal for sure.
If there is an extra bit of spice to it, though, between yourselves and Oxford, if there wasn't already spice between it, of course, Oxford took that unbeaten record from you at Wimborne Road as well, which had gone on for a couple of years. I think Leicester were the last team to win at Wimborne Road, and they've been in the Premiership for 2 years. So that's how long ago the unbeaten run's been going. I think it was 2021, wasn't it? 40-odd fixtures at home without defeat, and then Oxford come in and undo it of all teams, and I think it was a super heat, wasn't it, back at their place as well. So it was, you've had some really close battles. So certainly meeting each other again in the Knockout Cup final, and I say it could be that way in the league as well. So very tasty.
Bit unfortunate losing that run of home meetings wins, but it was a bit of a kick up the arse that we needed. We needed to maybe have that reset and not get too comfortable. But like I've said before, to win those big meetings, you do need everyone, chipping in and performing. Because if you don't, you get left behind, and it's these times of the year you got to step up another level. And the boys here, we've done it before, so we know what it takes. So that's we'll be going out there and to give it our all for sure and leave nothing on the line.
And it coming down to reserves, I think, being a big part of it as well. You got Sam Hagan there, but also Vinnie Ford. And since Vinnie Ford's come in, I mean, he's certainly been an entertainer. Sometimes he's found himself in the fence when it doesn't go right. But when it goes well, he's been pretty electric, hasn't he? Including that ride in the semi-final against Workington. We'll talk about that because that was a chilly old afternoon up at Workington, but you got the job done there. And I say some great racing though. I don't think the scoreline really represents how close it was at times. There were some really good races during the meeting.
Yeah, like you said, reserves are so important to help you win matches. Your top boys are kind of expected to go out there and get their double-figure scores, but it's the boys down at reserve that can really, put the extra points on the board that you need to win. And Vinny's been very good, lately. His first few meetings, he didn't finish many races, to be honest. He's spent a bit of time on the ground, and but the last few meetings, we've had a couple of practices and worked with him a bit just to be a bit more comfortable on the bike. And to be honest, it's doing him really good. Like you said, he had a really good meeting at Workington, and that's only his second meeting back from being injured. So, if we can get him doing those kind of scores and rides in the finals, that's the extra boost that we need. And, Sam and Toby, they've had their meetings, but yeah, everyone's working hard to get the runs on the board. So it'll be a tight one.
I think as well, obviously, you live at Midlows, so you're never short of any sort of Speedway feedback in that regard. And I think thing that I've seen from Midlow, he keeps it very simple, doesn't he? I think maybe sometimes people can get a little bit too involved in it, but he's just very simple. Just beat your opposite number. That's it. If you're doing that, if you're beating your opposite number, you're going to win the meeting, and it's just as simple as that. And that goes from the number 1 down to the number 7, and that's all he's really bothered about, isn't it? I know he sort of G's you up and gets more involved, but really, when you talk to him, basically, what does he want from a team? And it's just beat your opposite man. Simple.
Yeah, that's right. And if you do that, that's everyone chipping in, and that's how you do win those meetings. And he's good. He's ridden the bike before, so he knows that if you have a shit ride, you don't want someone straight in your face and in your ear telling you to change this, do that. You need time to have a little breather and sort your shit out, and go out there and put it right in your next one. So he's good for that. Give yourself some space, but get you fired up for when you go back out there. And the boys in the team have all been good with that, to help each other out. And if someone's having a good one and someone's not so much, have a bit of a team talk and come up with a setup that might be working. And but yeah, it is a team sport, and you do have to all work together to win. And I think we are doing that quite well, which is good. So it's good to have that team spirit.
And no shortage of JD and Coke or whatever after if you need it too. He looks after you in that regard. But I think this is another thing that people don't see, and we've been lucky enough to see it when we've stayed there with Midlow, with going with BSN and stuff, is how many riders that have been in your shoes in the past, and living there and being supported by Susie and Midlow, and the facilities that he's got. You got your workshop there. You're talking riders like Tony Rickardson, who I think rocked up, didn't he, one time in the back of a car and sort of landed on his doorstep, and the rest is history. Darcy Ward, Chris Holder, Jack Holder, Brady Kurtz. There's the baseball caps on the wall, aren't they? They're just at the bottom of the stairs, and all of caps from people who've lived there or stayed there at some point in time. It's just like a who's who of Speedway, and some of them, as say, have been particularly successful, not least Rickardson, who's now I think, isn't his former workshop now the cafe that's there, I think? Yeah, actually he's I'm in his old workshop, Rickardson's. Everyone's been in that one. Darcy, Brady, there's some memorabilia on the wall, and yeah, there's definitely some, Midlow could write a book about this place, but there's probably some stories that won't make the book too. So, it's such a cool place here. He's very welcoming to everyone. The riders, all different riders, stay here throughout the year on their travels, and you guys as well. And there's, like you said, there's no shortage of JD for a little debrief after a meeting. But it is good, you need that that atmosphere to feel like you're at home, and yeah, it is good here for sure. No, it is nice. And then soon it'll be time to head back, won't it, down under, and a few meetings on the cards there already, and actually British fans can take in a couple of these already now, because BSN are going to be showing the Jason Lyons meeting from Mildura, and also the Mildura Aussie Championships as well. So that's going to give some of the British fans a look at Speedway if they've not seen. I know they've done some streams from the Aussie Champs before, but a look at what you boys get up to in the winter when you're sunning yourselves and we're eating turkey at Christmas and stuff. Yeah, it is good. It's this streaming thing's it's awesome, really. It puts some more eyes on the sport back home in Australia for us as well. I think it's only going to be a positive for that. But yeah, it's going to be a busy time. The Aussie Title Series it's a big mission. Plenty of hours driving. I think we done 50 or 60 hours of driving in that short amount of time to do the series. And yeah, it should be good. There's some extra meetings that, I don't think that have been announced yet, that it should be pretty cool if they all go through. So,
But yeah, the big one is the Australian Championship. It is quite a strong lineup, strong field. It's probably one of the strongest fields, in the world, really, to be honest. You've got GP stars, you've got, people riding abroad everywhere, and it all comes back home to Australia. And but yeah, there's a lot to it that people don't realise. Every one of us is sending 2-3 engines home. Some people are sending bikes home. It is a big job to do it, and quite expensive as well. So you go in there, and you definitely want to be putting in your best effort. And hopefully I can go. I had a good one this year, but yeah, I'm looking to go even better as well. I've podiumed at one round, so I'd like to do that again, or even maybe win one. Who knows? But it's like I said, it's such a tough field. You can pick many people who could win for the night. So it should be good, and more eyes on the sport, the better, especially back home in Aussie.
Yeah, and the sheer size of Australia, I think a lot of people don't fully take into account. And you're doing the Aussie Championships. It's over a number. Is it 5 rounds again?
I think 4 rounds this year.
Is it 4 this year? And you're starting off, on the eastern coast usually, and then you sort of work your way down or across, and it's a lot of miles, isn't it? And it's over a fairly short period of time. It's not across the whole winter. It's like 10 days, couple of weeks or so, and it's you pack up from one place and the circus moves on, doesn't it?
Literally, yeah. It's the first round for us is 12 hours away, so we're straight down there, and then slowly work our way up the East Coast, end up at Brisbane, and from the first round to the last round, that's pretty much 24 hours in between of driving. So yeah, there's a lot of we call into home during the halfway stage, and whenever we can, really, to use our own workshop and sort things out. But there is a bit of living on the road, but we're all kind of doing it at the same time, so it's it's quite good in that way. But it should be good. It's, I think only 4 rounds this year, which, I'm a fan of it. The 5 round is, over the short amount of time, is a big effort. So, looking forward to it. But at the same time, I kind of keen to go home and have a bit of a rest as well, because this year's been flat out for me, doing my own bikes as well this year. It's been a lot, but it's been worth it too. It's why we do it. And but yeah, you go home and see everyone, family and friends, and chill out for a bit too is also what I'm looking forward to. Yeah,
and you come from a little town called Cowra, don't you? Which is a bit of a speedway town. It's a very tiny place, and it's sort of in many respects sort of out in the sticks a little bit, isn't it? But you're not the only Speedway rider to come from there, because obviously he's your brother, number one. But tell us about the sort of history and how Speedway's sort of a part of life there.
Yeah, we all kind of grew up racing the flat track bikes. That started on like a little Peewee 50 and then onto a 60 and progressed through. And there was quite a crew of us, from Cowra, chasing all the Australian titles and New South Wales state titles around Australia. And it was it's quite a pretty successful little town, really, for the size of it. And we all started at such a young age, so we've all grown up together, racing. And you get to that age where you either want to kind of go road racing, or Speedway was an option. Back when we first started, it definitely wasn't as big as what it was back home now. There wasn't too many tracks that we could go to, and there was a lot of travelling just to go and have a ride. So it's definitely progressed a lot, the Speedway, over the years. We all started on the junior 125s, and then it was a 350 back when I started, and you'd go to a meeting and you couldn't really even fill a full field of 16 riders. So that's how quite small it was, the Speedway. So you had to have quite a bit of money if you want to go the road racing route, which some people did. But to make it in road racing, you gotta have a big wallet, that's for sure. And talent can get you there, but you also got to pay your way there. So the Speedway kind of we did focus on that, and like I said, there was quite a few of us from the town that we went on the Speedway and just kept kind of progressing there, and to get to become able to go to the UK, we had to get that visa, top 4 in a state title, and it was quite tough. We'd only have maybe max one meeting a month, max. And then you get to the state titles at the end of the season when all the boys had done their 60, 70 meetings over here for the year, and they come back and obviously they're in a different league to what, us doing max 8 or 9 meetings. So it was definitely tough to get that state title, to be able to come here. But I think at the same time, I think it's a good thing. You have to be at that standard, I think, and I feel that's good that if you're not at that standard, you will struggle over here. And, it's tough as is over here. If you're not meeting the mark or around the mark, it's a costly sport. And I feel some of the boys that are just going straight, they can't get the visa and they go straight to this Poland thing. I wouldn't say I'm fully with it on that. Some of the boys have made it successful out of it, but I feel like it's you got to learn your craft and be good enough and to get that state title and go to the UK, learn your roots, and then eventually get to the Poland if you're good enough. So some people do it a few different ways, but that's how it all started for us.
Yeah, tried and tested route, and you're actually from the same town. Brady Kurtz, of course, he's from the same town. Obviously, Todd, his brother, is as well. So you're not the only Speedway brothers to come from there. No,
that's right. Like I said before, we all grew up together and racing the dirt track bikes, and then we all kind of went over to the Speedway and come over here. I think maybe 2019 or something, and spent a few weeks, travelled around with Todd when he was racing up at Sheffield, and learnt the ropes a bit and had a couple of practices and seen what it was all about. And that's how it all started, kind of to getting over here in the UK.
Yeah, and the rest, as I say, is history. And now looking ahead to 2025, I guess, as well. And you're already sorted out with Poland, as we've mentioned, sticking with Leszno there. So you've got a big year ahead there. And have you got plans yet for Britain? I guess those conversations sort of tend to happen around now, maybe, or not?
I haven't made any decisions yet. It's we'll get through this week and hopefully the finals week, and then we'll reassess, make a bit of a plan for next season. Sorted in Poland, and then maybe hopefully look to maybe get to Sweden. Things are all kind of in the pipeline at the moment, getting sorted and work out a bit of a plan for next season, because it'll be a bit of a different one for me next year.
It's been a big year this year, and onwards and upwards. And I think you've certainly shown people what you can do as well. So let's see. And and I guess Brady Kurtz and so on. Now he's looking at trying to qualify for the Grand Prix, and I guess you'd be looking to follow in those footsteps as well in the coming years. That's the ultimate aim for all riders, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. And it is tough for us Aussie boys to get that top 4 in the Aussie titles to give you the chance to go into the qualifier. It is quite tough for us boys compared to some other people that get that opportunity. But it'll be a nice thing to kind of work towards. And obviously, everyone wants to be world champion. Everyone wants to be in the Grand Prix. But we'll see where we go. And the end goal would be that for sure.
Well, plenty to go yet. All the best for you on Thursday at Sheffield, and then 3 cup finals to come for the Poole Pirates as well. So certainly in British Speedway, certainly a decent chance of, potentially at this moment in time, you've still got 4 trophies overall that you're competing for. So that'll help fill the old cabinet out at Midlothian a bit further, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's all looking good now. We're in the best position to make it happen. So we just got to go out there and do it now. And it'll be nice to end the year with some silverware, that's for sure.
Ben Cook of the Belle Vue Aces and the Poole Pirates in British Speedway, and he stands a chance of winning 4 trophies over the coming weeks, starting off with that crucial playoff semi-final in the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership on Thursday against the Sheffield Tigers. Coming up in the next part of No Brakes, No Fear, then a little bit of reaction from the CLRC, the Championship League Riders' Championship, which was won by one of his fellow countrymen. Josh Pickering claimed the title, and we'll hear from Josh Pickering in the next part of No Brakes, No Fear.
No Brakes, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Well, we've heard plenty from Ben Cook, and he was firmly involved in the action at Redcar on Sunday afternoon in the Championship League Riders' Championship. And it was Edinburgh's Josh Pickering claiming his first CLRC title. Pickering battling his way through the semi-final to join pool duo Richard Lawson and Ben Cook in the decider, with Workington's Antti Vulas also making it through. Now, Ben Cook led the early stages after Josh Pickering went wide on turn 2, but the Monarchs racer continued his attack and made it around his rival at the start of lap 3, with Richard Lawson completing the rostrum finishes, ending up in 3rd place. Well, after the trophy presentation and the champagne had been suitably sprayed, Greg Blair on BSN had a chat with the new CLRC champion, Josh Pickering.
Yeah, magic, mate. It's there's been a lot of great riders win this trophy, and I'm glad now to be named one of them as well. Going into them semis, I definitely was looking at gate 4, but I was sort of hoping that if I just come off one, they'd think the inside was still working, I'll be left with it. So I was proud as punch when I got the opportunity to come off 4, like you said, and it worked out well.
And I have to say, that was the most ballsy celebration I have ever seen when you went up that back straight and punched to the fans. It was brilliant to see, confidence, and you just knew that it was going to work. Yeah, I seen my wife on the back straight, so I had to give him a cheer. But yeah, look, I would have looked like an absolute idiot if I ended up getting passed over the line, but it wasn't meant to be, and very glad to pull off the win. It was obviously not the greatest year for Edinburgh Monarchs. We battled on year in, year out, but at least we've got at least one trophy going back there this year, which I'm very proud to do. Well done. Congratulations, Josh Pickering, and I'll let you head off and go and get your celebrations.
Yeah, also, thanks to Ryan and Steve for helping in the pits today. Couldn't have done it without them, obviously. My wife and Rhea are up on the hill. It's Rhea's birthday, so happy birthday, beautiful. And just thanks everyone, and obviously hopefully Sam's not too banged up.
Yeah, an uncomfortable one for Sam Masters in the CLRC. He was cruising, heading for the certainly for the last chance race-off in that, and could have actually qualified for an automatic position, but his primary chain failed heading into the final lap, and Jason Edwards put the bike down. It also sent Ashton Bowden into the fence as well, so a bit of concern for the Oxford Cheetahs fans, but we are assured that they will be okay, and they will be taking their place in the fixture against the Scunthorpe Scorpions on Wednesday. So it's a key time for the Oxford Cheetahs, as we were hearing. They're heading into the final stages of everything. Well, let's look ahead to the week ahead in British Speedway, and it is all juicy fixtures now. In the Cab Direct Championship playoff semi-final second leg, it's the Oxford Cheetahs versus the Scunthorpe Scorpions, and Oxford getting the advantage there at the halfway stage. 46-44, the Cheetahs lead. Not much in it, but certainly a big task for the Scunthorpe Scorpions to overcome the Cheetahs on their home shale. Thursday, ROWE Motor Oil Premiership playoff semi-final second leg between the Sheffield Tigers and the Belle Vue Aces. You know, there's that 12-point difference. Sheffield 39, Bellevue 51. And then on Friday, we've got the BSN Series semi-final second leg in the Cab Direct Championship between Scunthorpe and Edinburgh, and Scunthorpe are ahead in that one by 9 points at the halfway stage, ahead of racing on their home track, the Eddie Wright Raceway. So Scunthorpe 49, Edinburgh 40. Gets underway 7:30, that one. That'll be live streamed on Scunthorpe's own channel. And we've got National Development League action between the Middlesbrough Tigers and the Edinburgh Academy, and that's at 37.52 on aggregate for that one. On Saturday, more National League action between Edinburgh and Leicester. That gets underway at 7 p.m. at Armadale. And then on Sunday, it's the British Under-19 final, which takes place at Oxford. And a handy lineup for this one. Sam McGurk, Ashton Bowden, Freddie Hodder, Jodie Scott, Sonny Springer, Luke Killeen, Ben Trigger, Vinnie Ford, William Cairns, Ashton Vale, Max Perry, Steen Piper, Ace Piper, Luke Harrison, Senna Summers, Max James. One of those will be the British Under-19 champion. And Ashton Bowden competes in Heat 1 on his home track as well, because he's drawn at number 2 in that. Luke Colleen also on his home circuit. There's going to be some good battles there, and obviously a lot of eyes on William Cairns, on how he goes in that one. Up against some slightly more experienced riders, you have to say, but it'd be interesting to see how he gets on at Oxford, and that will be on Sunday for that one, and gets underway on Sunday at 3 p.m. at Oxford. And then next Monday, it's the first leg of the ROWE Motor Oil Premiership Grand Final. First leg, who will be there? Well, we know the Leicester Lions will be, but will it be the Sheffield Tigers or the Belle Vue Aces? We will find out in good time. We'll have all the reaction to that and give you more info on that this time next week in the next episode of No Breaks, No Fear. My thanks to Ben Cook for joining us. And if you haven't checked out last week's episode yet, make sure you do that, because it's with Ty Woofenden, and there's a lot to unpack in that chat. That was last week's episode of No Breaks, No Fear. And we will catch you next week for another episode. Thanks for joining us, and have a great week in Speedway.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.